Hey there, For the Love book clubbers. We're back for week 3.
We're back. Cheers.
Cheers.
And cheers to you. Okay, we're loving you. We're thinking about you with all your friends and your little book clubs and your people and your rooms and in your spaces. We love it.
It's been so great. Cheers.
Okay. Let's do this
so
thing.
Jen, I had someone leave a comment on my Instagram and they said, did Jen get gas? And did she find her shoes?
Yeah.
And so will it be just me? But you're here.
Yeah, so you know that I'm mature and I'm trustworthy adult.
40.
Yeah, I'm 41.
41.
And I was taking Ben to football practice just an hour and a half ago, and I was like, what is wrong with my car? And I ran out of gas, like, as I coasted in, like a 16-year-old new driver.
Right.
And in a stroke of good luck, I was wearing socks but no shoes. And so I had to call my 17-year-old to come bring me gas. And I bribed him with money to not tell Brandon, which he did not obey. He took the money.
And told his dad.
Yeah, so then also I was the girl in the gas station in my socks getting gas. It was really lovely.
Well, it's good to have a 17-year-old.
No, it is. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
B-team came through.
Good, good. And I don't know if anyone can notice. How can you miss it?
I don't know if you noticed anything.
We showed up today with almost the exact same earrings on.
Yeah.
Almost. Yours are like longer and have two.
I've got the gold behind.
People ask me all the time about my earrings.
Well, what you need to know is that we have a friend in common who makes leather earrings. And so that is what is happening here. This is from our friend Tiffany Wade.
Tiffany Wade.
Who's an incredible artist. And so, how do you describe Tiffany Wade?
She's just Tiffany Wade.
There's no one like her.
She's wonderful, beautiful, eclectic, great mom. Should we give out our webpage?
Give her webpage.
It's bytiffanyWade.com.
Yep.
bytiffanyWade.com.
Yep. You too could be twins with Jamie and I. And our earrings really obnoxious.
And no one would ever miss you walking around town.
I mean.
Jen, welcome back to the book club.
Yay! This is so much fun. We look forward to this all week long. I wish we had 1,000 weeks in a row to do this.
And I've loved following the pictures.
Oh, me too.
You guys, you're using the hashtag and the pictures. It's FTL Book Club.
Yes.
That's what it is. But
honestly,
look at these pictures.
Oh my gosh, they're so fun. I mean, you're cooking. You are in living rooms. We are just like, look at this.
They did have a crying corner.
Crying corner. That's brilliant.
There.
Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, I mean, if you got to bring a baby, bring a baby.
That's right.
Do what you got to do. Look, if you don't want to cook, go to a restaurant.
And they had their computer at the restaurant.
I love
that.
Yeah, absolutely. And we think you're so cute.
Wait, they're in Guatemala.
Wait,
I'm
what?
sorry, I
Are
missed
you
that.
sure?
From a cafe in Guatemala.
Oh,
I love
my
that.
word. Welcome, you guys from Guatemala. How fun.
Great.
Yes.
Lots more pictures. Let's see, what else do we have?
Yeah, you're just darling.
Just darling in Guatemala.
Yes.
These people are so sweet.
Sweet as can be. We're thinking about all of you, with all of your little books and your blankies over your legs. It's just the most fun. Thanks for joining us. I mean, seriously, look.
Look at that.
That's my friend Heather.
Oh, you know that?
I know that's my friend Heather, and that's all her adorable people.
I love it.
We love you, love you, love you.
Okay, so I think we need to tell them too is like we appreciate because it takes something for you to do this.
Yes, it
sacrifice.
Does. Yes.
I mean, if you have kids, the husband's got to step up or get a sitter, or whatever. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for opening your homes.
Yeah.
Thank you for reading the book. Thank you for joining in with us online. It's just too much fun. Anyway.
So much fun. Okay, so
week 3.
Week 3, and this week is friends, neighbors, strangers, and enemies.
Well, it's a broad category.
It is a broad category. Was this a fun little section to write?
Yeah, I love this section because this is sort of where we press into community, right where we live, the people that we're doing life with, and some of that is easy and seamless and exciting and wonderful, and some of it is challenging. But nonetheless, these are the people we live by.
Right.
This is real life. And so I really loved this section talking about just the upside and then the struggle side of building good relationships in your community.
So great. Okay, so we have questions. Everyone's been sending questions, and you can still do that. We love getting your questions. Use the hashtag FTL Book Club, and we can get your questions. Here is overall the most questions we got from this section were on the supper club.
Love it.
So here's question number 1. How do you choose good supper club candidates? That's like the question everyone's asking. Are you strategic, or do you just go for people that are easy to be around?
Oh, that's a great question, actually. Well, have we already mentioned this? I can't remember. But
I don't think so.
You know, we're in supper club together. It's 4 couples. us and our husbands, and then 2 other couples. And I'm going to have you start off that answer because Jamie actually started our supper club. So I kind of want you to know how she did it, and then I want to add to that.
Yeah, so we've been doing this for 4 years, and I don't even remember. I wish I remember like the like moment that I thought I should do this. But anyhow, I just told Aaron, there's people that we love that we don't get to do life with, because at the time, my husband's a pastor at church, you guys pastor at church, and another couple, they were also pastor at church. And so I just thought, these are great people that we love, that love food, and we don't get to see that often. Let's meet once a month. And so I sent out a random email, and you knew none of the other couples.
No.
We were the common denominator. No one knew anyone, and everybody said yes. And so we started meeting once a month, and we've been on 2 vacations together.
Yep.
Yeah.
I
so
mean,
that's how we started, and I still can't believe that everyone said yes.
I
but
honestly
they did.
can't either.
I know.
So you could be like us, where maybe one person is the glue. One person is the starter who says, okay, you guys don't know each other, but I know all of you, and I suspect that our chemistry is going to work.
Right.
And I don't know, it's not really a pro or a con, but it ended up being an advantage for us. We were all in very different spaces, different churches, different parts of town even, well, and some crossover, but we weren't pulling from the same tribe that we usually do.
Right.
And so it made it more interesting and a little bit more diverse, and we were bringing all kinds of different perspectives to the table. So it could be that you grab some people that you're like, I like you, I like you, and I like you, and I think you'll like each other.
Right.
Or it could be way more organic than that. It can be, these are 3 of my neighbors that I entirely like, that are not at all weird, and I would not hide from them if they knock on the door. Not that I would do that. And you just put them together. So maybe you already know each other. Or maybe you put your head together with a friend of yours and say, would you want to start a supper club with me? If I invited one couple and you invited one couple, who would we ask? Yeah. And 8 is not a magic number. I mean, it has been for us, but maybe yours starts with 6. Or maybe you're like a big-time party girl and you have 10. Or 12. That's
a lot of food.
That's overwhelming. But I think what matters the most is folks that you're really going to enjoy being around. What we know at our supper club, what we've learned over the course of 4 years, is that anything is on the table for discussion. I mean, we talk sometimes about absurd things, and we have talked about the most serious things in our life, and we know that it will, whatever, we always say it, what happens at supper club stays at supper club. We're trustworthy, and we love each other, and so although the food is central, at this point,
we're past
the relationship.
We're past that a while ago. Yeah, I think that's a good point. I feel like we started with food.
Yep, that was our common thread.
Because that was our common thread, and then since then we've kind of moved on to relationships.
Totally. And let me just say this too: if you're not a foodie, if you're not somebody who like loves to cook or like buys cookbooks and reads them like we do, who cares? Right. It doesn't have to be fancy. Like it way doesn't. I mean, we
have one couple who shall remain.
I was just gonna talk about
We'll keep them nameless. So what were you gonna say?
No, tell.
I was just gonna say they're not as much into cooking as us.
Yep.
I don't want that to be mean, but they're not.
Well, they say it.
They say it. Yeah. No big deal. But it hasn't changed anything. And one time she had a chef come in and cook for us. I mean, for the love. And
one time she served us canned green beans.
Right.
So I'm just saying, a good supper club can overcome these struggles.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So don't let fancy food hang you up at all. That's not really what people are in this for.
Yeah, no. Because that will only last you so many meals.
I only have so many things in my arsenal. Right. And we're going to have to start repeating.
Which I've seen some people cooking some of your stuff.
Oh, I know. Oh, my gosh. That's so much fun.
What recipe's in there? The beef?
And Aaron's.
Aaron's recipe. And the fingers.
The cake fingers. Why do we have to call it that? That was disturbing.
But people are making them, and they're really good.
Yeah.
Okay. Question for you, Jen, because you talked about this, and I don't remember if it's in this section or another section, about, I think you said when you and Brandon meeting other couples, 2 + 2 = 4.
Yeah.
Is that here or another part?
I think it's in that section.
Okay, so what's your thought on that with supper club?
Like, I think what I meant by that is the whole is greater than the parts. Like, the sum of it all together creates magic. And so there's just something about couples coming together. But you know what? Listen, if you're not a part of a couple, start a supper club with your friends. That supper club is anything. We're just.
I think that's a good
We're
word,
old married girls. Like between the 4 couples, we've been married for like 100 years.
Yes, and we have like 18 kids.
A zillion. But supper club, of course, obviously,
yeah.
any old table will do. And any old circle of friends. And so it's just sometimes when you put the right combination together, it's just magic.
Yeah.
And it really has been for us for sure.
Yeah. Okay, good. Love it. All right, and question number 2 that was sent in. I didn't say that first question. I'm sorry. It was from Jody. Jody, thank you for that. This is Sherrene in Michigan, and she said this. I feel rejected from everyone I've ever tried to be friends with at my church. And I'm a stay-at-home mom to 2 little ones whose husband works like 60 hours a week. How do I overcome the anxiety and the fear of rejection to form a supper club? I know.
It's hard. A lot of people are lonely.
With littles.
It's adult relationships are tricky, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean, who knew that we were still going to be dealing with a bunch of stuff we dealt with in middle school as grown-ups?
Yeah.
But it's a fact that not everybody is safe. Not everybody is trustworthy. Not everybody's going to reciprocate. And so, first of all, I just want you to know that you're not alone. If you just feel like, man, everybody in the whole world has meaningful adult relationships except for me. That's not true. This really takes work and time and sometimes a little bit of luck. But I would say maybe to you, what's her name again?
Sherrene.
Sherrene and people like Sherrene. Maybe don't start with the whole big supper club idea. Maybe start with 1 couple. Maybe start with 1 friend. Maybe start with something that easily fits into your life, like a play date with somebody new. Or, hey, maybe we can just meet for coffee. Or do something that isn't like, I mean, Jamie basically asked us to commit our whole lives to supper club. That was a lot to ask.
Yes.
Like, would you commit to once a month forever?
Yes.
So that's kind of that's starting at the top.
Yeah.
Maybe you could find a medium range.
Yeah.
That doesn't
can you talk about our happy hours that we used to do on Fridays?
Great idea.
I mean, that's a good. We all have our kids. So there you go. Talk about that.
That's a great idea, Jamie. When the weather is good, which in Austin is usually.
Yeah.
We for a long time meet after school on Friday with a handful of our friends, maybe like 5 of us or something, and bring all of our kids at this great park in town. And it's this huge playground, and the kids play, and we have happy hour and snacks and chips and hummus and whatever is good. Yeah. And we sit there usually until one of our husbands either comes to join us or fetches us for Friday night. But it's so low-key, so low maintenance. I mean, there's no house to clean, there's no food to cook, there's no hostessing. No. It's just such a casual environment. So think like that maybe, where you're not staring down asking 3 other whole couples to commit to something. Just start with 1.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Okay, that kind of leads into question number 3, actually. It's all about supper club. Connie in Lexington, South Carolina says she loves the supper club idea, but stresses out when she has more than 1 couple over. So there's that stress of, you want me to have 3 couples over?
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I really do. I will tell you, Connie, thanks for writing that in, because one thing I want you to know about me is I'm not naturally gifted at hospitality, because I tend to worry about the details. I overthink how the house looks and is everything just right, and I really have to work hard to just be like, come on in however you are and really however this house is. But I'll tell you here that I think the risk is worth the reward. I hope that you'll trust us and maybe just take a leap, because I know it sounds a little daunting, like, 6 people coming over and what on earth? But you get to the end of the night and you're like, where's this been all my life? And you'll find out, I mean, I could give a care what your house looks like when I come over. I could not care less, and I don't think anybody else cares either. That's not really the deal. We're all like regular people, ordinary girls. We have a zillion kids.
Doing 1,000 things.
Oh my gosh, our houses are as good as it can get. And so this is one of those things where I'm like, you might just want to like take a deep breath and leap. And I really think that you'll be glad you did.
And it kind of goes back to, it's not so much about, don't worry about the food, or that it's the conversation and the company. That sounds so simple.
It's true. And you know what you just made me think of? about 75% of the time or so at our supper club, and we started out like this too. So it kind of gave us a starting point.
Oh, good.
When when we were getting to know each other, and when we were just new to one another, is whoever was hosting would put like an anchoring question around the table. So we finally sit down to dinner, and we'd have like a question. Okay, here it is. We're going to go around and answer it. And it's been so fun and funny and interesting. We've learned so much about each other. Like at the beginning of the year, you know, what are you hoping for this year? At the end of the year, what was your high and low from this year? Sometimes they're ridiculous. Like, would you rather be rich or famous?
Right.
Like, what are some of our other questions?
There's some ridiculous ones, but my favorites have been, and these probably came from you, like, what is your goal for this year?
Yeah.
And then at the end, what happened? And you know what else is amazing about our supper club? Every single time we are celebrating something.
Always.
Because people are doing stuff, you know, and so we are celebrating each other. Yeah. And I love that.
Oh, I know. It's so true. And so even if that sounds a little canned, like a little bit,
like the questions out of a box.
Right.
Do it.
Just do it. I can tell you that it's
we did it.
Funny, and it's interesting, and it sort of gives you a place to start. And still, we just did this. We had supper club at my house last week or the week before, and we still had a question in the middle. And I'm still learning new things about my friends, and we vacation together. Yeah. So you can do that as well, and that helps alleviate a little bit of nerves sometimes. Yeah.
I think all the supper club stuff that you're trying to say is don't make it bigger than it is.
Totally.
Make it what it is. Okay, question number 4 comes from Roxanne in Dexter, Missouri. She said this: I'm curious in reference to introvert and extrovert.
Yes.
Because you talked about this.
Yeah.
What are conflict resolution tricks that have helped you and Brandon meet in the middle from introvert and extrovert husband? Because you talk about you're introvert, Brandon is extrovert. Yeah. And how do y'all meet in the middle?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. This is one of the more interesting revelations I've had in the last 2 years. I'm not super self-aware, just in general, and so I never really understood that I was an introvert because I'm high-functioning socially. And I can do it. I can dig deep and do it. But I read the book, and I mentioned it in For the Love. I read the book Quiet by Susan Cain, and I felt diagnosed for the first time in my life. Like, I am a textbook introvert. Textbook. And so, which doesn't mean I don't love people. That's what I always thought that meant.
I think we have wrong definitions.
Yes.
We think extroverts are like party, 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 and introverts are like in the corner rocking. And that's just not
like
true.
People.
I want to be alone.
Yeah, and that's really not it at all. It's really just a matter of how we recharge and how we do connect socially. Like, I want a one-on-one. Or I want a small conversation that goes deep as opposed to anyway, blah. This is not the question that you asked. Let me get to it. There's this whole section in Quiet that talks about what happens when an introvert marries an extrovert and they have conflict. And y'all, I told Jen Hatmaker,
this is you.
She has been spying on us because somebody who's introverted, aggression in general and conflict and confrontation, it makes me go small. Like, it makes me sort of shrink down. And an extrovert is just out to solve the problem. And so that doesn't feel aggressive at all. It just feels like problem solving.
We're just doing this.
Yeah, you're extroverted.
Yeah. And my husband is introverted.
Yeah, exactly. And so you're just like, well, let's just get to the bottom of it. But so the more the extrovert amps up, the more I start going like this. And the more I start going like this, the more he starts going like this. Like, what the heck? Be a grown-up. Solve a problem. And so what a dilemma. This was really, really helpful for me to understand that Brandon was not trying to attack me or back me into a corner, and it was helpful for him to understand I'm not trying to back away from you. I'm not trying to avoid conflict resolution. So I think, honestly, that's half the battle. It's just saying, let me help you understand what's going on in my head in the middle of conflict, because this is how I feel, but this is how you're perceiving it.
Yeah. So just that open conversation between you and Brandon.
It was really helpful.
Yeah.
It really helped me on my side to understand my husband better and also understand that my reaction is a trigger as his is to me. And so so what I want in conflict is time. That is how an introvert does. If you'll just give me some time and let me just be by myself.
This is my husband.
I know it is.
And I want hugs. I need, if we're fighting, just hug me. And he's like, I need a moment.
That's
sorry,
the worst thing you could ever say.
I know.
Right, and so they're coming in and we're going out.
Yeah.
And so what I want is time, and that's the very thing that makes him upset. He wants to solve it. And so we kind of meet in the middle. Like, could you give me 10 minutes?
Do you verbally say that to him? Okay. And he now understands you enough to go, she needs that.
And then 10 minutes, I'll be ready to come back. Or close.
Yeah.
I'll be close.
You're kind of giving a little.
I'm giving a little.
You really want 20 minutes.
I'd really like to come back the next day.
Yeah. So 10 minutes is like a good sacrifice.
Yeah, like if you can give me 10 minutes. And then I'm more careful about how I communicate. Like, I want to solve this too. I don't want to be in conflict with you. I don't want this to continue. I just need a little hot minute to get my feelings kind of under control and to make sure that my mouth does not get ahead of me. And then I'm going to be ready to talk about this. And meanwhile, it gives him 10 minutes to sort of simmer.
Bring it down.
And we have found that to work about half the time.
That's good. Better than none.
Marriage is hard.
Yeah, marriage is really hard.
Marriage is so hard.
Yeah. Don't you wish that you would have read that book like 15 years ago?
Literally, this has been our dilemma for 21 years of marriage.
Yeah.
And not being able to understand each other. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, act normal in a fight.
And he's thinking the same thing.
He is thinking the same exact thing. And so I think there's hope. I really do. I think good communication is the key, and finding something a little bit between the two styles. And so I have to just remind myself that sometimes, even though I am feeling that I can simply dig deeper and stay in. I can. I can do it. And he is learning that even though he wants to fix, he can say,
10 minutes.
I'm going to take a walk around the block.
Yeah.
And when I get back, fun time's on.
It sounds like a lot of grace on both ends.
I think that's exactly it.
Yeah. Okay, question number 5 from Dawn in Georgia. How do you deal with difficult people when they are your relatives and you can't just take them off the beam?
Right. Now, we wouldn't know anything about this.
No.
But other people.
Right.
That's hard. That is a legitimately good question and with a hard answer. And so, and I think there's degrees here. There are the type of family members who, like, say, live next door. And so the involvement is going to be a little bit heavier. And then there's the type of difficult relatives that you see at Christmas.
Right.
And so to me, that's the easier category. The second one, you can do anything for 6 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a fact. You can kind of be around any sort of fool for 6 hours. Not that your family's a fool.
Especially when you're celebrating baby Jesus.
Right.
I mean, you know, it's all about baby Jesus.
That's what I meant.
That's what you say.
So when it's in the short term, there is just this gear that you can force yourself into where you're like, you know what? I can do this.
Dig deep.
I'm going to put on a smile. I'm not going to take the bait. I'm not. And
like you said last week, you're not getting on the roller coaster.
I'm not getting on the roller coaster. Exactly. It's the same exact idea. And let's be fair. Sometimes we know buttons to press, and we just press them because those buttons make us mad, and we just keep thinking, if we're wondering if they have grown in this area yet, and we just want to test it and see if it's any better. Just don't press the buttons. Like, think about the whole group that's there. Now, so that's, to me, easier. If it's really not someone that you have to work with a whole lot or see a whole lot or talk to a whole lot, it's the family members that are in a lot closer, that live by you, that are in your life in a more consistent way that's simply harder. And so this is not a fancy answer, and I wish there was a formula, but there is no better approach than simply having good conversation. Now, I know it's hard because maybe you want to get in there and talk this through and kind of expose it and put it on the table, and they don't. That, honestly, dealing with someone who's passive-aggressive is the hardest of them all, who kind of refuse to come in. But all you can do is handle you. I'm always loving the verse that says, as much as it depends on you, live at peace with everyone. And so that's really all you're responsible for. And so I would say to that, and make sure you're not getting passive-aggressive. Like, if someone in the family is just consistently wounding you, hurting your feelings, make sure that you are not letting that simmer and grow, because that stuff grows. You're just going to have to do the hard work, the mature work, to sit down face to face and say, I need to tell you some things that they're hurting me. You probably don't even mean to do it. Or maybe you don't even know that you are. But I want to preserve our relationship and make sure it's healthy and flourishing. And so I hope that you can just hear me. And then if there's anything that you need to tell me that I need to hear, I'm ready to listen. Those kind of conversations can change your relationship. And even when they don't, we pray for grace. We pray for so much grace, like, Lord, help us. Lord, help us get
and I was going to say, those conversations, when they're laced with grace and love, even if that person doesn't change, you've done your deed.
That's right.
And you have layered it with grace and love, and so you have nothing to be worried about.
As much as it depends on you, that's the best you can do. And so you just make sure that if that is a permanent situation that is struggling to improve, or it's just improving slowly or in increments, you just make sure that your life is surrounded by lots of other healthy people, that your friends are healthy, that your family, your immediate family is healthy, and that you have a lot of good input to kind of help see you through.
And I like that if you're reading her book, the chapter on difficult people, that you start out with your little, what do you call this?
Disclaimer.
It's like, these are just your average run-of-the-mill people. If you have someone that is completely, like, abusive or whatever, that's a different story.
Absolutely.
Just wanted to say that. You said it in here, and it's good to know.
Exactly. We're just talking about, like, plain old ordinary difficult people.
Like your Aunt Gina that you cannot stand.
That always wants to talk about politics.
Okay, question number 6. Dina in Chattanooga wrote this. I know you said you love to cook and family dinner time is important to you. How do you balance eating together with all your kids' activities at night?
Yeah, totally. I do love to cook, and because our life is weird and our weekends are so busy, we treat our weeknights like most people treat their weekends, and so we don't have a lot of moving parts. But I mean, Brandon and I don't. We are not involved in any weeknight stuff, but our kids are, of course, because they're kids. And so here's what we do the best we can.
I like that.
Tonight, I sat down and ate with my 2 girls. That was who was home. And so if somebody's out, the nice thing in our stage of life is we have 3 drivers. So even if one kid has a thing, one person can drive. I'm still home to cook dinner. The rest of us are still there. And so if everyone's home, super. If 5 of us are home, great. If 3 of us are home, we can always have cereal. If we eat around a table, it still counts. It still counts. Kids don't really care. In fact, they're like, party.
I love it.
Like, it said Mom's not making curry or some weird thing. Like, I could just have Captain Crunch or some. I mean, I have that crap in my house, too. Don't think it's all, like, homemade. I mean, I'm going to tell you this right now. This is the worst thing that I buy.
What is the worst thing?
It's the worst thing that I buy. And I buy it consistently because the kids love it so much, and it saves me in a pinch. Peanut butter, like Reese's peanut butter cereal.
Oh.
Can you eat
good
it?
Stuff.
Oh, what? Basically made of chemicals.
It's basically
and
Halloween
cardboard.
Every morning.
That's what it is. It's candy. It's candy, and you pour milk over it, and I don't even care. I buy 2 boxes at once. I'm not playing.
Whatever.
So don't get through the end of For the Love and think, oh, all she ever does is cook organic. Well, that's bull. Because sometimes I'm like, hey, guys, guess what? Cereal for dinner. Yay. And I can play it like that because it's candy.
And it's Captain Crunch. Oh, I like how you said that you and Brandon kind of keep your weeks low-key.
We do.
We're finding that as well. We have an oldest is 6th grader, so we're just starting to get in those weeknight things, and it just works better. If our weeknights are low-key.
For a lot of years, Brandon and I had weeknight stuff. We would lead studies, or we would host a small group, or we would be a part of a small group. All wonderful things, obviously. Things that we value and we've led and launched and joined.
I mean,
totally. There's nothing wrong with that. We're just in a season of life where, with our weekends the way that they are, if we also have weeknight stuff where we're out of the house or that we're preoccupied, we basically will never see our kids. And so we've just said in the season, Brandon and I we just flatline Monday through Friday. And that's where we just hunker down. This will all change for us in a few years. This is why I always tell you, as you're thinking about your family and your schedule, it's seasonal. Like, where are you right now? And your family rhythm is different than mine, and Jamie's is different than mine too. And so you kind of have to figure out what's working for us. Like, what do we need to do right now? And you can reevaluate it next year or in 5 years or whenever it shifts around.
Best advice if you have littles as well, because you may look at us and be like, oh my gosh, their kids can just make their own dinner and
their son
can bring them gas. Yes. But we too used to be at home with littles, and honestly, that's when I did a lot more stuff because they all came with me. We were one big crew.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And we were so desperate to do something.
Yes.
Out of the house.
Leave. I don't care who's with me.
Can anybody have me over?
Like all my kids.
Yes. Is there anywhere we can go?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a season, ladies. Yeah. Guys, week 3, so wonderful. So wonderful. I think we have some more pictures to show you that they're going to be scanning through and we can look at. They see me rolling to For the Love Book Club. That is hilarious.
Oh my gosh, what in the world? Oh, Dana.
I love it. You know Dana?
I do.
I love this.
Oh my gosh, that is awesome. You know what? There's always a meme.
Always.
There's always a meme.
Always.
I'm so thankful for it too.
And I hope if you took any screenshots today, you got some better pictures of us than last week.
Yeah.
Here, are you ready? Let's go. Ready?
Okay, here's the good one. Ready? Everybody, wait. Let's give them 1 second to get ready.
You need to get your screenshot ready because we're. Oh, look at this cute one.
Oh, it's our youngest for the lover.
She's so sweet.
Punky. We need to wait until our faces are on the screen because we're going to give you a chance to get a good screenshot. This is what we expect to see on the social.
No more like this. Oh, guys, but listen, we're going to let you take our screenshot, but don't forget. The next week, we're back for week 4, and it's our last week.
I know, that went so fast.
It went so fast, and it's over church people, non-church people, and God.
Yeah.
Which is going to be a lot of fun, and I can't wait to get all of your questions. Send in your questions. Use the hashtag FTL Book Club. Sorry.
FTL Book Club. Yep.
And we'll see your questions. Can we give them a screenshot picture real quick?
Here, get us on the camera.
We may be.
David.
We may be, and we just don't
Are
know
we?
it.
And we just don't get it?
Okay. Oh, we're on.
We're on.
Ready? We're screenshot.
We should not be in charge. Are we? Are we?
We don't know. Okay.
Everybody ready with your finger? That's the money shot. That's the money shot. We want to see that on social media.
Guys, you're the best. Cheers to you.
Cheers to you.
Cheers to Book Club.
And to you.
And to your friends. And we will see you all next week.
See you next Tuesday.
Bye.